Hello everyone, in this video we will cover physical layer. Okay, so we will discuss functionalities of physical layer. In functionalities we will look out cables, connectors, hardwares, then transmission modes, topology, multiplexing, encoding and all that. Starting with physical layer. The physical layer according to the OSI model is the very last layer, or we can also say that is the very first layer from the bottom. Okay, we can understand it in this way that if we talk about sender side, the last layer on the sender side which will add its functionality is the physical layer, and on the receiver side the first layer which will use its functionality is also physical layer. Okay, so as we mentioned in this diagram that data is coming to us from the data link layer. Okay, meaning the physical layer is providing functionalities to the data link layer, because above that we have the data link layer, network layer, transport layer, session layer, presentation layer. All the layers are about this. Okay, so when data has come to us from all layers, then finally we have the bits, because in the data link layer we talk about frames only. Okay, and what are there in these frames? Bits. Okay, so in data link layer there are frames, and we talk about bits in physical layer. All the bits came to us in physical layer. Now in the physical layer we have to send these bits. Now question is how to send. Okay, using some transmission media. Okay, using some transmission media, whether it is guided or unguided. Guided means wired and unguided means wireless. Okay, now question is how do we send signals? Who decides all these things for us? So the answer is physical layer. The physical layer decides how to send signals, how to decide all these things. Okay, the physical layer is the last layer on the sender side which is adding its functionality. Okay, so as it sends the signal, the first layer on the receiver side which will receive the signal and convert them into bits is again the physical layer. Okay, the main functionality of physical layer is physical layer converting data in bits to signal, and on receiver side also physical layer is converting that signal again in data, which is physical layer. So this is the main and basic functionality of physical layer. Before moving forward to functionalities of physical layer, what do we mean by physical things? Okay, we mean by physical things is the actual things, we can say the tangible things. We will not talk about virtual things here. Okay, so moving forward to functionalities of physical layer, first of all we will talk about cables and connectors. So what does cable mean here? Suppose we have a laptop, from that if I send a mail, so I have written the mail and data came out from the application layer, then transport layer, then network layer. So what is all this? The all this is virtual data, this is logical data, but the physical layers actually deals with hardware or actual things. We can say hardware or actual things, because up to the data link layer what do we have? What we have? Logical data, and we are dealing in logical data in the form of bits. But now we are finally converting data from the form of bits to signals. Okay, actually why are we doing this? The cables we have, we may have be using guided media, means wired media, or like using unguided media, that is wireless media. We have to use these signals to send data. Okay, if we talk about cables, we have twisted cables, we have coaxial cables, optical fibers. They also have their own functionality. Like in copper wire electric signal travels, but if we have optical fiber then we send data in the form of light, and their connectors are also different. In connectors we have UTP, STP, BNC connector, MGRJ connectors. So all these connectors are physical devices. Therefore I am telling again and again that in physical layer we generally talk about physical devices, means we are talking about tangible things. But in other upper layers, although there is hardware also, okay, it doesn't mean that there is no hardware involved. There is hardware also, but in physical layer generally hardware works. So in physical layer deals with tangible hardware, unlike upper layers. We have twisted pair cables. In this we have UTP unshielded, STP shielded, RJ45 connectors, coaxial cables. In this we have single copper core, BNC connectors, and optical fiber. We have glass fiber SCLC connectors for light signals. Okay, so this is the functionality of cables and connectors. So moving forward to physical topologies, this is the important topic. We will make a separate video on this. So for clarifying, what is physical topologies? Physical topologies is nothing but arrangement of devices, or we can say nodes in the network. Okay, so we have some important topologies here, so you should know the terms. We will discuss it in detail in our upcoming videos. Okay, first we have star topology. What do we mean by star topology? Central hub connected to all nodes. We can see here in diagram also that a central hub is connected to all nodes. Now bus topology, single backbone cable shared by all nodes. Okay, in mesh topology, point to point connection between all nodes. What do we mean by point to point? A dedicated link between two devices. We will discuss all these topologies in our upcoming videos in detail. Okay, don't worry about that. Moving forward to functionality of hardware devices. In hardware devices, we generally have repeaters and hubs. So generally, what type of hardware do we use in physical layer? Repeaters and hubs. Okay, repeaters we generally use if there is an attenuation in signal due to noise, then we have to increase its energy again, or we use hub for making multi-point connection. So hub and repeaters, these two also have very good functionalities. Repeaters amplifies or regenerates signal to combat attenuation, and hubs are multi-port repeaters. Hubs are nothing but multi-port repeaters. Hubs broadcast data to all connected devices. Okay, as we can see it in diagram also. Now moving forward, functionality of transmission modes. In transmission modes we have simplex, half duplex and full duplex. Okay, so we have simplex transmission where one guy can send message to second, but the second person can never send the message to the first one. For simplex there is a one-way communication. For example, we can say TV is such kind of communication where we are sending signal from remote to TV. Okay, it is going to TV, but TV can't send the signal back to the remote. This is simplex transmission mode. What is half duplex? The two-way communication, but not simultaneously. For example, we can say walkie-talkies. Walkie-talkies are half duplex transmission modes. Then full duplex. Full duplex is two-way communication but simultaneous. Okay, so for example, we can say telephone calls. This is the functionality of transmission modes. Okay, moving forward to multiplexing. Multiplexing means our channel, the channel we are using, either wired channel or wireless channel. So we always, let's say there is one sender, one receiver. If we increase number of machines, okay, so number of machines want to communicate, then we don't have to buy new channels. Okay, we can also use existing channel logically. For that we use multiplexing. For in multiplexing we will discuss in our upcoming videos in details what is multiplexing. We have FDM, TDM, WDM, frequency division multiplexing, time division and wavelength division. Let's say we have n number of machine and we want to send message something, so we don't have to buy different channel, we can use our single channel. Okay, this is multiplexing. Now moving forward to encoding schemes. Okay, then what is encoding? If we talk about encoding here, we use different type of encoding. Okay, that depends on our data. In today's time, if we are generally like working on our laptop or computer, our computer and laptop work on digital data. The data they are generating is in a digital form. Okay, is in discrete form. If we talk about like FM radio, what is FM radio? It is a voice, and voice is continuous. Okay, it is generally an analog signal. So do we have to send analog signal directly or encode it into digital, or it is analog to analog or digital to digital or digital to analog? So all these encoding methods generally we talk in encoding schemes. So again, this is inside physical layer. Okay, this is the functionality of encoding schemes. If we talk about summary of all this, summary of physical layer, so we have discussed that for input we are taking bits from data link layer. For output, signals transmitted over the media, we are converting bits into signals, and then again signal into bits at receiver side. This is the main functionality of physical layer. What is the focus areas of physical layer? We talk about hardwares, cables, connector devices, signal transmission, where we talk about encoding, modes, multiplexing and topology design. So this is the summary of physical layer. So that's it for this video. We will meet in next video and we will discuss all these like multiplexing, topology design, all these things in details in our upcoming videos. So that's it for today. We will meet in next video. Until then, bye bye.